get to the idea of advising companies on what are the key components, I can't stress enough about maintaining and really encouraging the continuation and strengthening of your culture, because it's what gets you through bad times. It got us through the 2001 tech bubble, that got us through the 2008, 2009 Great Recession, got us through the pandemic. And, you know, who knows what we're in right now, because you can say we're in a recession or not, or, you know, the sky is falling or it's not. But at the end, it is really the people around you that give you the confidence of coming in and being able to contribute what they can do. And we've got a great group of people that is really, truly all about the culture.
The conversation about employee ownership really starts the first introduction when we talk with candidates. Well, we obviously look for a high level of talent and skills. Embodying our core values and sharing those core values is even more important. The core values are integrity, respect, teamwork, and passion. So, Dave and Ken, would you share how kindness, transparency, and communication all play into this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say something about core values. Sometimes people look at values and say, you know, that's just crap. They put it on their brochures, and it's, you know, it's there, but nobody lives it. And ironically, or interestingly, our younger people are more protective of those values than you can possibly imagine. Because when we interview people, you can kind of get an understanding about people. And the real question is, can they work together? Do they have a sense of integrity? You know, it's usually not as challenging to understand values when they're first coming in right out of school. But as you talk to people down, you know, as you talk to people and how you grow the business, you bring people in from outside, I will tell you that every outside hire we've had to demonstrate those core values. I'm going to let Dave talk about communication and transparency, and I'll talk about kindness. Dave, do you mind?
Oh, absolutely. And I think one thing I wanted to point before I go on to communication transparency is that these core values weren't defined when I joined, but you could feel them. And as I mentioned, when looking at Wall Street, I mean, it was very different. I mean, any Wall Street firm that does put these up as their core values is exactly what Ken's saying. It's like they're just something to stick on a wall, put it on a poster, and go. I mean, it's an eat what you kill environment. I mean, you're competing as much with people in your own firm as you are, you know, externally. So I think, you know, this is something that we just live by, and maybe it limits some of the people on the investment banking side that we can hire and bring on board, but it's something that we spend a lot of time vetting. You know, and in fact, on the communication side of that, you know, it's a big piece. So I mean, when we communicate, as Christine said, when people are coming on board, you know, we lean on this. You know, we really want people to know, like, hey, this isn't an eat what you kill place at all. And if you act in that manner, your career here is going to be short-lived. So, you know, we do a lot internally to provide a lot of communication and transparency within the organization. You know, we have, you know, monthly calls where we walk through exactly how the business is doing. You know, we have meetings and an annual strategy meeting where we go through all these things. And we have an internal ESOP committee that gives constant communication to what's going on with the company and how this impacts individuals. And beyond that, it really is just a flat out open door policy. I mean, I'll be the first to say, I can't, you know, life's hard enough trying to drive through and do the things that you know and that means something to you. To try and deceive someone or to shelter someone, like, that's too much work. That's not in our DNA. It's like, this is like, if we have transparency, if we're always doing what we say we're going to do, or at least exhibiting that we're trying to do something that we say we're going to do, then people are on board and they'll also join and help to try and move that ball forward. But I think, you know, having that level of communication and providing them with a good amount of transparency with regards to how the business is performing and why has been extremely important, and really feeds right back into our values and you know, why people work here and why we've had so many people that have stayed for so long.
I get a kick out of the transparency part because, really transparency is really part of communication. But I sometimes I get a kick out of it only because I hear Dave being very transparent in presenting financial information every month, and then more extensive information on a quarterly basis. And I sometimes think that people believe there's something more because they should be asking something or we're not giving them something. And then we go, no, that's pretty much it. Here are the key performance indicators that we run the business by. And as we kind of say that, this isn't brain surgery. We know what we need to do. We know how we need to execute. We know the timeline in which we need to execute our transactions and our client work. And it's pretty straightforward. But I find it amusing that some people think there's something else out there, and that we've got some secret sauce that we're not telling everybody about. But we don't, and maybe that's something we should have done. But I think that the transparency really feeds into the communication, and vice versa. It's married at the hip. But the one thing that's that I did add here, and this is, people don't like talking and using the word kind. I have no idea why. It's a 4-letter word. It's a good 4-letter word. It's all about kindness to people. And and though this may sound unrealistic, but when we're basing our team around core values, kindness is almost important, and that falls into the integrity of the individual and the respect for others in the team. And however, if one person's going to be passionate about it, you want everybody to be passionate about it. But we have fired people for violating our values, and I'm not proud of that because I hate to fire people. But if you don't get who we are, and you're never going to get who we are, so why are we both wasting our time? But when it comes to kindness, we have so many things that go on around here. It's like every company, I say this frequently, life goes on and everyone has their own issues. They have family issues that we're not aware of. They have work issues, perhaps. Maybe they've got issues with children, with adults, their parents, all kinds of things that we as leaders are not necessarily aware of. So when they come to us looking for some sort of relief, either in one way or another, or their parents need to be taken care of, or all kinds of things that happen as part of life. Dave and Rocky and myself, all along the way, and Bob before, we would say, do what you need to do. Family comes first. We'll figure it out. And every time we've figured it out.